If I can tell you one thing above all else as part of this show, it would be this. If you're unfamiliar, if you haven't done it before, join the community at The Shield online. It's online at theshieldnil.org. That's theshieldnil.org.
This is Legend Jeter. Let's tighten up.
Detroit, it's time to tighten up. Welcome to Tighten Up, the podcast, presented by The Shield NIL. Brought to you by Hyperice and Last Shot Energy. A state of the Titans, the latest in Detroit Mercy athletics, and a chance to hear from Titans all over the world. Here's your host, Dan Hasty.
Yes, indeed. Another edition of Tighten Up the podcast. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. And we've done a lot of basketball over the course of this season. And, of course, for good reason. We've seen Kate Doctor's team get off to a fantastic start. They're now going to open up at home in the first round of the Horizon League tournament. So best of luck to women's basketball. Men's basketball going on the road. They get Northern Kentucky, a team that they've beaten earlier this year. And I know it's not a season that ended exactly the way they wanted it to end, but they still have a chance, and there's still a precedent there. They have a victory on tape against Northern Kentucky. It almost feels like every year Detroit Mercy plays against Northern Kentucky in the postseason. So it's death, taxes, and playing NKU. So hopefully Mark Montgomery and his team can find a way to solve Northern Kentucky, something that had not been all that successful in recent years. Let's get to some news and notes. Speaking of men's basketball, wanted to say congratulations to Nate Johnson, who was the representative from the Titans as part of the Horizon League all-freshman team. How cool to see that. He has worked so hard throughout the course of this season. We've had him on this show, and it's so easy to root for someone like Nate Johnson and to see what he's been able to do. Of course, he's so intertwined with the University of Detroit Mercy, with Wilbert McCormick, who joined us a couple of episodes ago. If you want to go back and listen to that conversation, I highly encourage you to do so. But congratulations, Nate Johnson, a well-deserved spot on the Horizon League all-freshman team. Meanwhile, we've got some news, track and field. Josh Otten is the Horizon League track and field men's mile champion. Ended up getting the mile in 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Congratulations to Josh Otten. And it was even made better by the fact that we got a chance to hear the moment that Josh Otten ended up becoming a Horizon League champion. Take a listen to this. This is John Nolan, who's doing play-by-play for the Horizon League.
Can Albright chase him down? Or can Otten hold on? Around the last turn. Otten does it! He tightens up!
Yes! Another tighten up drop. That's now a couple different references to tighten up over the course of this season. John and I talked after the fact, and he ended up saying after he said it, he realized he probably led people to think that he pulled a hamstring or something. But thankfully, Josh Otten is healthy, and he's a Horizon League champion. Congratulations, Josh. But as we said, we have seen and heard from a lot of different members of the basketball program this season. And we're, of course, hoping that those days are not over just yet. We have a few more episodes left here in season number 1. But before we go to basketball, which I'm expecting that we'll do later this week, let's talk a little soccer, men's soccer to be exact. Because did you know that Detroit Mercy got something that they have not had in a long, long time? How about a first-round pick in a draft? The MLS draft, the Superdraft, if you will. Josh Copeland was taken 26th overall by the Colorado Rapids. He is now part of MLS, the same league that players like Lionel Messi is a part of. And to think that Josh Copeland is in the exact same league as Lionel Messi, that will really take you back and humble just about anybody. So we got a chance to catch up with both Josh and his head coach, Nate Kopunek, at least his former head coach in this instance. But we get a chance to celebrate something that we don't often get a chance to celebrate all that much, and that is a Detroit Mercy Titan becoming a first-round pick. There's been a lot of different student athletes, and only a handful can make a claim like this. So sit back, relax, enjoy hearing from Josh Copeland, part of men's soccer last season, and the head coach of Detroit Mercy men's soccer, Nate Kopunek, as they join us right here on Tighten Up. Well, we've been doing a lot of talking about basketball over the course of this run, this season of Tighten Up, the podcast. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Glad to have you along for another edition of Tighten Up. And this one is a special edition because for all the talk that we've had about basketball, there's been some really cool things that have gone on with some of the other sports at the University of Detroit Mercy. And no more evident is the fact that soccer, men's soccer, saw a player become a first-round MLS draft pick. This doesn't happen very often. It's fairly unprecedented territory to see a player from Detroit Mercy have that kind of status, have that kind of success. So we get a chance to celebrate men's soccer today. And it's one of the reasons that I've been looking forward to this show for a long time. We've had a chance to get to know a lot of the different student athletes, but when all of a sudden you look across the news blurbs on DetroitTitans.com and you find out that Josh Copeland became a first-round draft pick, he's a first-round draft pick forever and ever. Nobody can ever take that away. And that's pretty cool. Just being able to say that you were a first-round draft pick. That's pretty special stuff. And to help us tell that story, it's my honor to bring in the head coach of men's soccer at the University of Detroit Mercy, Nate Kopunek. Nate, thank you very much for making some time.
Dan, thanks for having us. We're thrilled to be here and talk all things Titan soccer.
Not only do we have Nate Kopunek, but we have the aforementioned Josh Copeland as well. A first-round pick has graced the stage of Tighten Up. Josh, congratulations.
Thank you, Dan. I'm glad to be here.
It's so cool to be able to have a conversation like this. You know, there's been a lot of different sports that have seen a lot of great players come through Detroit Mercy. A lot of players who have had so much success, whether it be in their conference, overall, they've dominated. Some have even made runs at NCAA records. And yet, you're the one that we're talking about as the first round pick. So take me through kind of your story as you tell it, Josh, and how that has all kind of flowed its way now into Colorado.
Well, I mean, start off, it's always been a dream, pro soccer. Ever since growing up, it's always what you think, I want to be a pro. Like you watch it on TV, like I want to be a pro. That's what I want to do. And to be able to live it is just something truly amazing that, I mean, I'm going to live my life knowing that that's something that I've accomplished and I hope to continue.
When did you get an idea that you were going to be not only drafted, but drafted where you were? When did you start to get an inkling that maybe this is possible?
I mean, it's always like been in the back of my mind, but you never know until it's truly a reality. I mean, it's not something that's easy. It's not something that's gonna, be given to you. So, I mean, as long as you put in the hard work and you're willing and you can show like an organization or a team or like anything that you belong and you want to be there, that's the only chance that I needed, because once I got my chance, I haven't looked back.
And Nate, what does Josh mean to your program, especially for somebody in your situation?
Josh means everything to what we're trying to build here at Detroit Mercy. Not only is he a first-round draft pick, but he's a local Michigan product right outside of Detroit, and that's something that we believe in within our team. It's something that we're really proud of. Last year, in a roster of 32, I think we had 25 to 26 that were from the state of Michigan. And he's played, in every single game that I was here coaching, which is pretty unique. I came in 2 years ago. He played as a freshman. He played as a sophomore. And he continued to just dive into the daily grind of getting better every day, getting 1% better, something that we've always talked about. And he truly did that. He did that each and every day. And he jumped leaps and bounds this sophomore year. And that's why he's sitting where he is right now.
Nate had a 4-year run as an assistant coach at Bowling Green. And Nate, when you come over here, you all of a sudden inherit this roster with a player as talented as Josh. What does that allow you to do? Let's take a quick break. If you've listened to this podcast, then you know the Tighten Up's brought to you by Last Shot Premium Hydration, the official hydration drink of Tighten Up. Their revolutionary formula is packed with vitamin B12 and 0 grams of sugar. It helps the Titans hydrate, replenish, and recover. Try it at Callahan Hall or learn more at lastshotofficial.com.
Allows us to keep trying to get better. No one's guaranteed playing time. I think I told that to Josh when I first met him. He was one of the last committed players that I got the chance to meet, and he excited me. He had the potential to play right away. We kind of dove into the youth of the group right from the start, and he continued to show that he deserved to be out on that field. And yeah, we just continued to get better and better each and every day.
You had someone during your time at Bowling Green become a first-round MLS draft pick. And so as somebody who's already kind of seen the archetype, what did Josh represent that gave him the same opportunity?
I think the commitment to trying to get better each and every day. Every day is another opportunity to show that you belong on the field, but also belong, where he is right now. And that's daily. That's not something that you can kind of take any days off. And that's hard. It's hard work. And he has the mental fortitude and the physical gifts that allow it. But then that mental piece is definitely something that, separates anybody that can get to that level at the pro game, is the ability to, show each and every day, whether it's in training, whether it's in a game, that he can be the best player on the field. And this year he did, honestly. I'm still a little upset with where the league voted him because as a first-round draft pick, he definitely deserved to be on the first team. But it's a testament to him. He doesn't care. He's going to continue to show himself and prove himself each and every day. And he's making all of us proud. Every time I get a chance to text with him, every time I get a chance to talk about him, he's a great addition to the guys that have been drafted that I've had the chance to work with. But probably the most special one because it was here as a local kid right outside the city of Detroit.
Josh, I know you would have loved to have ended up as a first teamer at the end of the season last year, but considering that you ended up here, you ended up as a first round pick. I will say, it does help sort of keep the main thing, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first time I had the chat with the sporting director out here, he basically told me that none of that matters. At the end of the day, it only matters so much what, the other coaches in the league vote for you. Like, there's nothing you can really do about that. As much as I want to be a part of the first team, it's, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's what you do on the field and how you can impact those around you. And that's what Colorado saw in me. They saw a player that could come in and do what they needed. And yeah, that's why I'm here today.
Nate, what kind of groundwork did Josh leave for you guys?
He leaves a lot of holes for us to fill. That's for sure. No, he's he's honestly such a great part of who we've become, as well as in the classroom. We had the highest GPA in the entire department, and he's part of that with his grades. And we've recruited a lot of kids in our locker room. All of them had a 3.0 or better this past semester, and then they're all pushing themselves in really hard classes. And Josh is a testament to that. He not only does he kill it on the field, he kills it off the field. And that's something that we're really proud of. So he leaves behind some holes. He leaves behind, somebody in the locker room that guys can look up to and continue to push themselves. That's something that he leaves behind. But he also now leaves behind something to aspire to. And so we got a good core that are all looking at him as a testament to what is possible now in a Titan, which it wasn't since Adam Bedell was part of the Titans. So it's definitely really cool, really unique, and it means that we've got to get back to work and try to have the next Josh Copeland.
And Josh, I'm sure there was a part of you that didn't want to leave. So when all this went down, tell me, what went into that decision for you? What was the biggest influences as to why you went the way you did?
Well, firstly, I'm like, as Nate said, like I'm big on my education, like I wanted to continue my education. I wanted to, um, you know, finish my bachelor's and then go on to medical school because I'm a biology, I'm a biology major. But, at the end of the day, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity and I really didn't want to pass on it. And at the end of the day, I could always go back to school and finish my time as a Titan and walk that stage just like everybody else. So I'm just taking this opportunity while I have it, and we'll see where it goes from there.
And to that point, you've gotten a chance to get to know a lot of the players on this roster, the ones that are going to be back for this coming season. So what among those players makes you feel like this roster is in good hands?
Uh, well, firstly, I got to say something about the leadership. Nate's got it under control. Logan, Zane, Dave, all those guys, they got it under control. And with the leaders on the team, we got Drew, my roommate. He's always been a good guy to me, a good mentor. And I'm sure he's got the team in good hands. And with the coaching staff bringing in new guys, I'm sure that they got it all under control.
You were talking about Drew Pearson, also one of the captains, or the captain, or at least in this case for your guys' roster. There is a very, very interesting dynamic now going into this coming season, and was released not too long ago, Nate, that you guys added a new class. So if you can, give us a little rundown on some of the guys that'll be the next wave.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we had a few bounce backs from to the state of Michigan. So John Palomino was a good addition, who actually was one of Josh's teammates at the club level. So we're excited about adding him. So he transferred in this semester. We also were able to add another local kid in Mano Karjan, who is coming to us from IU Indy. And then we added, a French center back that's coming in early to help get in the back line and keep out some goals this coming year. And then we got 2 freshmen coming in as well that will start in the fall.
I look up and down your roster, and the majority of these players are from Michigan. There's a couple from Ohio, but there's also just as many international presences on your roster, whether it be the Czech Republic or Peru or France. Tell us how you find some of these guys.
Yeah, obviously something that we're really proud of is the talent in the state of Michigan. So we don't have to go too far. So we'll always be a very Midwest heavy roster and very Michigan heavy roster. But to add some flavor to the roster as well, we dive out and we get some certain needs from some other countries. So it's all contacts. It's the same as it is here. As much as we talk to the coaches here to recruit players like Josh Copeland, and we get to know those youth players, we also have there's agencies out there and handlers out there that that send a lot of players abroad here to the States. So, we're probably in the unique category where our roster is mostly domestic with some flavor internationally. no right or wrong, but there's other programs out there that are mostly international heavy. But it's something that we really believe in is the state of Michigan. So it's all contacts, it's all relationships. It's the same within our program that we pride ourselves on those relationships as teammates and coaches with the players. Same thing when we're going through the recruiting process and trying to bring in some of these talented international players.
Also helps get a few more people in the seats rather than having an entire roster of international players. So, Josh, it's not just Nate. It takes a village. There's so many people behind the scenes that work so hard and that helped you get to this point, whether it be your assistant coaches like Zane or Logan or David. I wanted just to give you the floor so you could talk about the impact that the rest of Nate's coaching staff has had on you.
Yeah, I mean, for one, obviously Nate, he's the one that brought me in, the one that trusted me, the one that, gave me the opportunity to be where I am today, that basically gave me the floor when it came to putting on the boots and said, go do your thing, go take this opportunity and show why you're the best. And I took that every day, every practice, every game, and I did what I could. And when it comes to the assistants, Zane, I knew him. I've known him for a while now. He actually coaches my younger brother, so that's a good connection I have with him. So I've known him for a while, and I played with his summer team as well. So that allowed me to have a lot of development over the summer, training every day with him, and just being with somebody that I'm also going to see in the fall helped me out a lot. And Logan's a good guy. I'm really close with Logan. He's a good mentor. He's always there whenever I need anything. But yeah, he's a good guy. And I mean, I can't be more proud of like the coaching staff and what they did for me. So yeah.
I see you've had a couple of contests already. The Colorado Rapids are part of the MLS's Western Conference. And I know you're only a couple of games into the season, but talk to me about that experience and what it's been like transitioning from the college life to the pro life.
Yeah, I mean, we've been in a preseason for probably a month and a half now. First off, in January, I was with the first team in Mexico, and I ended up scoring a goal down there, which was a pretty good start to my time out here. And then after that experience, I got sent back here, and then we all went to Florida for 3 more preseason games against Huntsville, who are in the Eastern Conference. And then we played FC Naples, which was a USL2 side, and we also played Inter Miami, which was kind of an unbelievable experience because I got to see Jordi Alba and Suarez and Messi all at the same facility. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking the first time seeing them in person as close as I was. But I mean, all good experiences. I got some goals and assists as part of my experience. I guess the transition period for me it took a little bit longer than expected. Going down to Mexico with the first team was definitely a bit nerve-wracking to start off. But as my time went on and after the first game, I was able to get my goal and feel a little bit more comfortable with the guys that was around. And then coming back here to Florida with the second team, I was able to, get my craft back together, and I was able to be with the people that I'm actually going to be with throughout the course of my year. And yeah, all good experiences though.
I feel like you picked a pretty good time to find your way into MLS. You mentioned some of the names that you've had a chance to see, to come across. And I keep thinking about Lionel Messi and the fact that he's in the same league that you are. Does that hit you? Like, does that sink in that you're both playing in the same league?
Yeah, I mean, he's my hero. I've watched this guy since I've been growing up. Just seeing him at the same facility is just like unbelievable. Seeing him like walking by with his kid was like an unbelievable experience. And hopefully one day, since he's in the Eastern Conference, hopefully we get to play him. I would, I don't know what I would do in that type of situation. That'd be unbelievable.
And to be able to give somebody like Josh that experience, Nate, he sort of becomes the poster boy for the rest of the guys that you have, because, if you do these certain things, this can be the outcome for you. How important is it to have somebody that sets an example like that?
It's awesome. It's somebody that they know too. It's harder to do when you don't know him. So, Adam Bedell got drafted by Columbus Crew a while back. And we know him as an alum, but we don't know him personally. So for everybody in that locker room, everybody knows Josh. That's pretty unique because they played with him and they were around him every day. And they observed what it took to get to that level. And so that's what it gives everybody. He's the poster boy, but he's also Josh Copeland that we all know. And he's not just, a name in the record book. He's an actual person. And that's what makes Josh special. The person that he is what makes Josh Copeland special. The soccer piece is one thing, but who he is in the classroom, who he is outside in the community, that's who Josh Copeland is. And that's what's really cool about him getting drafted is he's making us proud just being him. And, whatever he accomplishes in the program and then after the program, he's got the biggest supporter in me. And I'm in his corner for the rest of the time that I'm around. So I'm excited to just watch him continue to grow.
You said the word community in there, and I am kind of curious how often that you guys are able to get out, be able to do some things. Of course, being in Detroit, you've got a chance to impact the lives of a lot of different people. So I guess I'll pose this one to both of you guys. What comes to mind about some of the experiences that you remember just simply getting out and trying to help people? I'll start with you, Coach.
Yeah, it's definitely we're on a platform, especially as the Division I university in the city of Detroit. It puts our brand out there. Something that is unique to just us with the men's soccer team is we have a team impact teammate, Adam, who's been a part of our team with the organization Team Impact, which is pretty cool. And he's as much of a teammate as anybody. He's traveled to games. I think last year, he travels to games. My first year, he traveled all the way down to Wright State. And kind of out of the blue, we're just warming up on the sidelines. And then all of a sudden he's on the sideline with us there to cheer us on. And so his kind of impact on us, I think, is as beneficial as, our impact on him. And I don't really look at it as our impact on him. His impact on us is pretty unique. And I'll let Josh kind of talk about that a little bit because he's had the opportunity to really spend a lot of time with him, as his teammate. But that's something that's really unique to us that, we're really proud of. We get one more year with Adam, which is great. He's going to graduate from high school and we'll kind of celebrate him with the seniors that we have next fall, which is going to be pretty cool.
Same question for you, Josh.
Yeah, Adam is definitely unique to us, but I mean, just seeing him every day at training, at games, away games, home games, it's truly special and it means a lot to us having him there. And just like on other topics, we make it a goal of ours, like every year, to get out to the community to try and help. It's always on our goal board. It's always something we talk about. And being right there in the fall for the fall season, we're right around the holidays. So we have all the opportunities to get that, especially being in the area we are. We always want to do what we can to help out the community. And with me coming back in October, I'd love to be part of that when season's kicking off.
And if you guys listening have a chance and you are interested in helping players or student athletes like Josh, some of the current ones on the roster for soccer or for any sport at the University of Detroit Mercy, just go to theshieldnil.org. You can find out more information and more ways that you can help soccer or any sport, because certainly a little bit goes a long way. I hear, Josh, that it's a bit of a culture shock no matter what sport, but I'm curious how this looks to you in your sport, because like many, you go from being one of the most dominant players on the grass or on the pitch in this case, and then you end up going and you look around and you see all these different athletes who have a very similar backstory to yours. So take me through what that culture shock has been like and how you've had to adjust and respond to that.
Well, I mean, first off, it's definitely an experience coming out here and being around everybody that, has similar talents and similar abilities to me. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're all there for the same reason, and that's to get wins and to perform. And to be around a group that can do that and provide that only can breed success, especially in a team like Colorado that, last year we didn't have the greatest season and they had to bring in players to, come and help and provide wins for the team. And now, hopefully, with this upcoming season and this preseason, the preseason test that we provided wins and lots of goals, we should hopefully be seeing that this year. First game's down in Austin on Friday. So we'll see how that goes.
So cool to be able to celebrate Josh Copeland, the 26th overall pick in the 2025 MLS Superdraft. Nate Kopunek, the head coach of men's soccer. So I'll pose this one to you, Nate. What's next? I mean, you guys have a season coming up, but it's not anytime soon. You have some time for laying groundwork. So what does that look like, and what is on the docket for you?
Yeah, definitely. We got to lay the foundation for success. We have Josh leaving, but that gives us new goals to achieve. And the guys are away right now in spring break. When they get back, we get into our spring season. So we got games every weekend from here on out once they return, and that lays down some good foundation of what we want to look like in the fall. This is, the spring season is always a time of growth and kind of individual development that leads the foundation for the fall, because the fall is a grind. The fall is, 18 to 20 games, in a short 3-month window. And it's tough. I think anybody that understands and has been around, college soccer understands that, you get back and you get a week and a half, 2 weeks for preseason, which I was joking with Josh today because he thought his preseason was pretty long. And I said, well, it's different than college because college is pretty short and sweet. And then you're right into the first game. So right now we're laying down a really good foundation for success. The goal for us and our program is to win a championship. I think that when I came in, and with Josh's first class, that was something that we were really trying to push for. We want to recruit the best local talent possible and then give them an opportunity to play against some of the best teams in the entire country. And with that prepares us for the Horizon League. And hopefully eventually we're going to be pushing next year to not just win those big, Power 4 games, but also then win the Horizon League. We've set up another really tough schedule, which I can't really go into too much details just yet. But it's going to be just like last year. So if you look at our schedule last year, you'll recognize some of the teams there. We're going to run it back, and we're going to go out there and prepare ourselves to win a championship. We didn't achieve those yet in the first 2 years, unfortunately, but all our eyes are there to get 1% better each day with the goal in mind to win a championship and bring it back to Detroit for the first time in a while.
And for those of you who need the memory refreshed, if you will, from that schedule last year, some of the names we saw on that schedule: Dayton, Michigan, Notre Dame, Maryland. There are some real talented teams that you guys went against last year. Josh, what are you going to miss most? And what are you missing the most about Detroit Mercy?
I mean, just being around the guys every day. That was a core thing that I just loved being a part of that team. Just some of the faces I can remember just seeing every day, just brighten up my day. And around being around the guys every day is just something that I won't be able to experience again, and something that I'm never going to take for granted.
Well, again, it's so much fun to be able to see something like this happen for you and to be able to celebrate it as well. Josh, congratulations on being a first-round pick. You've got that title forever, and thanks so much for joining us here on Part of Tighten Up. Awesome to be able to finally do this with you.
Thank you for having me.
That's Josh Copeland. And to you, Nate, thank you very much for spending your time with us and allowing us to find out a little bit about your team, your direction, because this is an interesting time after you end up kind of having to look at things from a different perspective. Now you have a newish dynamic to your roster, but there's a lot of exciting things about what you were able to do with somebody like Josh, and I have no doubt that you'll be able to do something similar with some of the guys that you currently have. Congratulations on getting somebody like Josh to his ultimate goal, and can't wait to see what it looks like for you once those games start coming up a little bit later this summer.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us.
That's Nate Kopunek, the head coach of the University of Detroit Mercy men's soccer. That's going to do it for this issue of Tighten Up, this issue, what are we, a magazine? So if you can, do yourself a favor, go to theshieldnil.org. It's a chance to get on to find ways that you can help Detroit Mercy student athletes like Josh and help out programs like men's soccer with Nate. And like we said, there's a chance for you to get involved, and it is something that, let's be honest, a little bit does make a very
Thank you for listening to another episode of Tighten Up, the podcast. Join our community at The Shield on theshieldnil.org.
So,
and follow us on X and Instagram
We've got more
at The
coming up
Shield
later
NIL.
in the week. And until then, I'll talk to you Titans of Industry next time. Hyperice is a proud sponsor of Tighten Up the Podcast, a leading provider of innovative technology for recovery, mobility, and improved performance. Some of the best massage therapy guns you can find. They help the Titans, and they can help you too. Find out more information online at hyperice.com.